Luca Romano found her at 2 in the morning, curled in the supply closet behind the restaurant's industrial shelving. She'd made a nest of folded tablecloths, her server apron still tied around her waist, arms wrapped tight around herself like she was holding her bones together. When his shadow fell across the doorway, she didn't startle, just looked up with exhausted resignation, waiting for whatever came next. "How long have you been sleeping here?" he asked. Her voice came out small. "Just tonight." Luca had built an empire on reading lies. Try again. For days earlier, the Opal Room wasn't Luca's only restaurant, but it was his favorite, the place where he'd started washing dishes at 16 before taking over his uncle's territory. He still came most evenings, occupying the corner table where he could watch his empire's heartbeat. The kitchen's controlled chaos, servers moving like dancers, customers who paid premium prices for the privilege of dining in his world. That's where he first noticed her. Maya Torres had been hired 3 weeks ago, picked from dozens of applicants by his general manager. Luca approved hires above a certain pay grade. For servers, he trusted his staff's judgment. But he'd been watching her anyway. Professional habit, nothing more. She was good at her job. Quick, attentive, the kind of server who anticipated needs before customers voiced them. But there was something else. The way she volunteered for every available shift, how she lingered after closing to help with side work that wasn't hers, the careful way she counted her cash tips like each dollar was being memorized. On Tuesday night, Luca stayed late reviewing quarterly numbers in his office. At 11:30, he heard voices in the kitchen, his closing manager and Maya. "I can stay and deep clean the walk-in," Maya was saying. "I don't mind. Or I could reorganize the dry storage." "Maya, we're closed. Go home." "I just thought. You've worked 10 hours. Go. Home." Silence, then, "Right. Of course. Sorry." Luca heard the back door open and close. He thought nothing of it. Wednesday, she picked up a double shift, lunch and dinner, 14 hours on her feet. Thursday, she was there again for the dinner rush, and when Luca left at midnight, her car was still in the lot. An old Honda with a cracked taillight and temporary tacks. Friday brought the incident that changed everything. Maya was carrying a tray of entrees when another server, Brad, a cocky kid who thought his looks excused his mediocre work, stepped backward without looking. The tray tilted. Maya caught it before disaster struck, but sauce splashed across her white shirt. "Jesus, watch where you're going," Brad snapped. "I'm sorry, I didn't. You need to pay attention." Luca watched from his table. The fault was clearly Brad's. He checked his phone mid-floor, backed up blindly. But Maya apologized again, hurried to the kitchen to change into her spare shirt, and returned to her tables without missing a beat. Brad never apologized. That night, Luca stayed to close. His manager, Tony, handled the till while servers finished their side work. Maya was the last to cash out, counting her tips with that same intense focus. "Good night, Maya," Tony said, locking the front door behind the other staff. "See you tomorrow?" "Actually," she hesitated. "Is the Sunday morning shift still available? I know it's last minute. You worked 6 days this week already." "I don't mind. I could use the hours." Tony glanced at Luca, who'd been watching from the bar. "I'll check the schedule," Tony said carefully. "Get some rest." After she left, Tony approached Luca. "She's asked for every open shift for 3 weeks straight. Never calls out, never complains, but boss, she looks exhausted." "She got somewhere to be?" Luca asked. "She says she's saving money. Wants to move to a better apartment." Luca filed that information away. Saturday night was busy. A private party in the back room, full dining room, bar 3 deep. Maya moved through it with mechanical efficiency, but Luca noticed the shadows under her eyes, how her hands shook slightly when she set down water glasses. At 10:15, she dropped a tray. It wasn't catastrophic, empty dessert plates, nothing irreplaceable, but the crash silenced the kitchen. Maya stood frozen, staring at the broken ceramic like it was a death sentence. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'll pay for them." It's fine," Tony said. "It happens. Just clean it up." But her hands were shaking too hard to grip the dustpan properly. Luca watched her kneel in the broken pieces, watched her blink back tears she wouldn't let fall, and something cold settled in his chest. After closing, Luca told Tony to go home. "I'll lock up." He went to his office, but didn't leave. Instead, he waited. At 1:30, he did a final walkthrough, checking locks and alarms. The kitchen was dark. The dining room was empty. Then he heard it. A soft sound from the supply closet. A hiccup breath. He opened the door and found her. Now, at 2 in the morning, Maya sat surrounded by folded linens and industrial-sized cans of tomatoes, looking at him with eyes that expected cruelty, because that's what life had taught her to expect. How long? Luca asked again. This time, she told the truth. 5 nights. Luca stepped back from the doorway. Office. Now. Maya stood on shaking legs, following him through the dark restaurant. She'd been caught, and caught meant fired, and fired meant. Her thoughts spiraled into panic she couldn't afford. Luca's office was warm, leather chairs and dark wood, and the kind of controlled luxury that reminded her exactly who she was dealing with. He gestured to a chair. She sat. He didn't sit behind his desk. Instead, he leaned against it, arms crossed, studying her like she was a problem requiring solution. Start from the beginning. Mr. Romano, I can explain, then explain. Maya's throat felt tight. I just needed somewhere safe for a few nights. I've been saving money. I'm so close to having enough for first and last month's rent somewhere, but I needed a little more time. Safe from what? The question landed like a fist. Maya looked down at her hands. You're home, Luca said quietly. Where is it? I'm staying with someone temporarily. Who? My boyfriend. The word tasted bitter. Ex-boyfriend. We broke up 2 months ago, but the lease is in his name, and her voice cracked. He said I could stay until I found somewhere else, but he's angry that I ended things, and he's making it difficult. Luca's expression didn't change, but something in his stillness became dangerous. Difficult how? Maya shook her head. It doesn't matter. I just need a few more weeks to save enough money. Then I'll be out of there and everything will be fine. How is he making it difficult? Mr. Romano, answer the question, Maya. She flinched at the command, then seemed to realize he wasn't angry at her. She was so tired. Too tired to maintain the story she'd been telling herself. That she was handling it, that it wasn't that bad. He brings women home, she whispered. Make sure I hear them. He turns off the heat when I'm sleeping. Hides my things. Unplugs my phone charger. He took the lock off my bedroom door. Her hands twisted together. Last week, I came home and he'd thrown out my groceries. Said I was eating his food. Where do you sleep there? On the couch, mostly. He has people over late, friends who drink and get loud. They make comments about me. Not threats, just comments. So I started leaving before they arrived, staying out as late as possible. She looked up at him, eyes red-rimmed. I know I shouldn't have slept here. I'll clean out the supply closet right now. Oh, you're not going back there. Maya blinked. What? Tonight. You're not going back there tonight. I have to. All my things. Tomorrow, I'll send people to get your things. Tonight, you're staying somewhere safe. Mr. Romano, I can't afford a hotel. You're not paying for it. Luca pulled out his phone, typed something, then looked at her. I have a property manager who handles several buildings. One has a furnished studio available immediately. You'll stay there. Maya's exhaustion couldn't process what she was hearing. I don't understand. Which part? Why are you helping me? Luca was quiet for a moment. You've been sleeping in a supply closet rather than go home. You worked every available hour. You apologize when other people wrong you. You count your tips like you're calculating survival. His jaw tightened. I know what that looks like. I know what it means when someone has nowhere safe to go. I can't accept charity. It's not charity. You'll work for it. I need a daytime manager for my other restaurant across town, someone to handle lunch service, inventory, staff coordination, salary position, benefits. You interested? Maya's throat closed. I'm just a server. You're smart, observant, and you work harder than half my management staff. You're wasted on the floor. Luca's voice was matter of fact, stating facts. But I need to know you're somewhere safe. Can't have my day manager sleeping in closets because her ex is playing psychological warfare. This is insane, Maya whispered. You don't even know me. I know enough. Here's what happens next. You're going to that studio tonight. Tomorrow, you'll give me your ex's address. My people will collect your belongings while he's at work. You won't need to see him. Monday, you'll start your new position. Questions? Why? The word came out broken. Why would you do this? Luca's expression was unreadable. Because I can. Because someone should. Because men who torture women for ending relationships deserve to lose. He straightened. And because everyone in this city thinks I'm a monster. Might as well prove them wrong occasionally. But what do you want from me? There it was. The question that revealed everything about what Maya had learned to expect from men who offered help. Luca's voice went cold. I want you to be safe. I want you to sleep in a bed instead of on a shelf. I want you to work somewhere you're valued. And I want your ex-boyfriend to realize he has no power over you anymore. He held her gaze. That's all. Nothing else. Ever. Maya stared at him, searching for the trap. She found only steady certainty. Okay, she breathed. Okay. The studio apartment was small but clean, a furnished space with warm lighting and a bed that looked impossibly soft. Luca's driver, a quiet man named Vincent, had driven her there and handed her the keys without comment, then told her he'd return at 8 the next morning. Maya stood in the middle of the room after Vincent left, too overwhelmed to move. She showered. Actually showered without listening for footsteps or cruel laughter, then collapsed into bed. She slept 12 hours straight. Vincent appeared at 8 as promised. Mr. Romano wants to know your ex's address and work schedule. Maya hesitated only briefly before writing down the information. She tried so hard to handle this herself, but every day in that apartment had been psychological warfare. She was so tired of being scared. At noon, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Your belongings are secure. Storage unit key at the front desk of your building. LR, that was it. No drama. No confrontation she'd have to survive. Just handled. Monday morning, Luca drove her to Rosso's, his other restaurant. Where the Opal Room was elegant and expensive, Rosso's was warm and family-oriented. The kind of place where locals brought their kids, where birthdays were celebrated with staff singing and free desserts. Manager's office is in the back, Luca said, walking her through. You'll oversee lunch service, coordinate with the evening manager for transition, handle inventory, and ordering. My assistant will train you this week on the systems. The staff was welcoming, a mix of ages and backgrounds who clearly loved their jobs. The head chef, a woman named Rosa, took one look at Maya and smiled knowingly. He does this sometimes, Rosa said during a quiet moment. Sees someone drowning and throws them a rope. Doesn't talk about it, just does it. Has he helped others? My daughter. 5 years ago. Bad divorce. Husband wouldn't leave her alone. Mr. Romano made it clear that wasn't acceptable anymore. Rosa's expression was fierce with gratitude. She's safe now. Building a life. That's what he does. Gives people a chance to rebuild. Over the following weeks, Maya learned the rhythm of management. She was good at it. Organized, fair, the kind of leader who earned respect through competence. Her apartment became home. She bought groceries she didn't have to hide. She slept through nights without fear. Her ex, Tyler, tried calling twice. Both times, Maya blocked the number. The third time, he showed up at the Opal Room during dinner service, drunk, loud, demanding to see her. He didn't make it past the house stand. Vincent appeared from somewhere, along with 2 other men Maya recognized from Luca's security detail. They escorted Tyler outside with efficient calm. Whatever they said to him in the parking lot, he never came back. 3 months later, Maya sat in Luca's office at Rosso's, reviewing quarterly numbers. The restaurant's lunch revenue had increased 18% since she'd started. Staff retention was up. Customer satisfaction scores were excellent. You've done good work here, Luca said, scanning the reports. Thank you. The team makes it easy. I'm opening a 4th location next year. I'll need someone to launch it. Interested? Maya looked up, startled. That's a huge responsibility. You can handle it. You've proven that. Mr. Romano, Luca. After 3 months, you can call me Luca. Maya smiled. Luca, why? Why invest so much in me? He was quiet for a moment, his expression distant. I grew up watching my mother work 3 jobs to keep us fed after my father left. She was exhausted, scared, drowning. No one helped. Everyone looked away. His eyes met hers. I swore that if I ever had power, I wouldn't look away. Simple as that. It's not simple, Maya said softly. It's extraordinary. It's necessary. Luca closed the folder. People think power means taking whatever you want. But real power is choosing what you protect. Who you protect. 6 months after that night in the supply closet, Maya had her own apartment, a real lease in her name, furniture she'd chosen, a life she'd built. She still worked for Luca, now managing the launch of his newest restaurant. She'd enrolled in business courses at night. She had friends, safety, hope. Sometimes she drove past the building where she'd lived with Tyler. She felt nothing but relief that she'd escaped. One evening, she found Luca at the Opal Room, sitting at his corner table with paperwork. She approached quietly. "Thank you," she said. "I never properly thanked you. You thanked me by building the life you want. That's enough. Still, what you did, saving me. I didn't save you, Maya. I gave you time and space to save yourself. There's a difference." He looked at her steadily. "You did the hard work. You rebuilt. You earned everything you have now." Maya smiled, tears threatening. "For what it's worth, you're not a monster. Whatever the city thinks." "Maybe not," Luca said. "But monsters are useful sometimes. They scare away bigger monsters." After she left, Luca returned to his paperwork. The city would always see him a certain way. The criminal, the enforcer, the man who existed outside polite society's rules. Perhaps they were right. But in a storage closet somewhere was a box of letters. Thank you notes from women he'd helped over the years. Lives quietly redirected away from danger. He never answered them. But he kept them anyway. Evidence that power could build as easily as it destroyed. Outside, the city hummed with evening life. Somewhere, Maya was driving to night class, building her future. Somewhere, Tyler was learning that cruelty had consequences. Somewhere, another person was suffering in silence, waiting for someone to notice. Luca noticed. He always noticed. And when morning came, he'd do it again, watching his world with careful eyes, ready to extend a hand to whoever needed it most. Not because he was a hero, but because someone had to be.